We intend to offend. We will offend. And if you have a delicate sensibility, click the X button in the corner, or if you're on a Mac, the red button in the left corner. Monty, welcome to the show of offending people.
Well, it never happened and I make shit up. For the last couple of weeks, everyone that has asked for a reading, apparently you're all from Scotland, from Hurley in Scotland. You all live the same lives. It's very metaphysical, because we're all one. And I can't read the Akashic Records. I don't even have a card.
Meow, meow, meow. Welcome, everyone, to another Friday comedy show. I'm joined by Montesaurus Dean Rex, Melissa Hawking Hughes, and Bruce the Node Internet MacDonald when he arrives from Costa Rica. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We intend to offend you tonight. So any delicate people out there that are snowflakes, the heat has been turned on and you shall melt away.
Yes.
And so I agree, Patty. The first thing that was said in the chat room that I saw was Patty saying, she was mentioning your naked face, Andrew. And that was the first thing I said to him, Patty.
You all should be. You should all be used. You should all be used to it. If anybody in the chat room will talk about in previous moments where suddenly the chin has appeared. And Robert has promised that he's going to do a cut take of all the different beards that have come and gone over the years.
It's just the first or second time.
The last one.
It freaks out. You get over the freak out after the first, give it 6 months. And, by the 9th month, chin's back. Yeah, all right.
Well, this one,
you're nude as well, Mont. Your face is nude as well. I mean, was this discussed? Is Bruce Bruce was nude last week, wasn't he? His face is naked as well. What's going on? Is this a trend amongst you that I should know about?
Well, actually, I can only grow a certain length because I got a bald patch right there, and I don't like it. I have to walk around thinking all the time.
So, gentlemen and ladies that are in the chat room or on YouTube and want to come in and be a part of the chat room where we will answer questions from the chat, you must be in the Zoom room. Robert's going to put up all of the information for you to come into the Zoom room. So if you are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or anywhere else, please come into the Zoom room. All right, guys and gals, because of our pre-talk, earlier this week I had a very unique session. A lady who has been a professional Brazilian waxer for 20 years.
Right.
Now, that is the first time I have done a single person who is a professional Brazilian waxer. And let me tell you, the karma on this lady. I want to first say, very grounded woman, very high in her spirituality, but I was so surprised at the nature of the job. Like the things that they do down there, they cornrow vaginal hairs. The Hitler mustache, they put a special space between your butt and your other part, and they put a Hitler stash down there.
Okay.
They do.
Yes.
I knew it.
We opened the show on the topic of naked, didn't we? So we've asked for this. But,
I knew of a girl that actually got a stick figure with a lawnmower just at the right point of the triangle of the pubic hair.
So the same lady, in the years of doing this, had a picture of a house with a line through it because the lady was a home wrecker. Okay, so everyone in the chat room, what do you think this lady's karma was of her professional Brazilian waxer for 20 years? Okay. My wax didn't go so well.
While we're waiting for the answers on what the karma is from this, now, as many of you know, I actually have a lot of kids, and I've got 4 girls, 4 daughters, and as they've become young ladies, this has become, okay, you tidy up downstairs. It's a bit of a lesson that you teach them. When you go to a Brazilian waxer, they are remarkably, they're like seeing a nurse. They're like seeing a doctor. They just see this stuff every 15 minutes for however many years they've been doing it, like this lady, 20 odd years. And so they are so matter of fact, they've seen everything they've got. But if you're new to it, you've really got to warn your teenage daughter about it. Like you've got to say, look, this is really, for them, it's matter of fact, it's every 15 minutes. For the first goer, or the first comer to having a Brazilian wax or a wax job of any sort downstairs, it's quite the trauma, and you have to brace your kids for it. Like as a mother, I've had to sort of say, this is what's going to happen. She's just going to, and she's going to make your leg go up there, and she's going to bend you in this.
Yeah, and then hot goo is going to be placed on your skin where it's hair, and then
It's
put
the
some
least
type
of
of. Let me finish, because I haven't had it done, and I'm going to explain why. So you get some hot goo, put onto your hair, then there's some type of cloth or bandage or something, and that sits there till it adheses to it, and then 4 million hairs are ripped out of your skin at all at one time at the root,
and at record speed. Yeah, like they move like lightning. Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, you know that
paid,
whole rip it off like a band-aid. Yeah, they've taken it to the nth
Worse.
degree. I want to know
Yeah,
why is it referred to as a Brazilian? Did someone in Brazil come up with this procedure?
Because of the Brazilian bikini that was basically butt floss.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yes. So you had no hair showing out to the left or the right of the floss.
Yeah. I'm wearing strings.
Floss, not
the
string.
creativity. Like as you said, Andrew, the creativity. They're artists, some of these people, and the offers that you have when you go in about what colours you want, what sort of. Now, believe it or not, the idea is ripping the hair out and actually not having hair, and yet now one of the most popular things is extensions downstairs.
Yes.
You could actually get multicoloured hair extensions in all sorts of areas.
Right. Like pigtails for your pubic bone. So I laughed when she said she regularly cornrows those types of hairs and braids them down there and everything. And they use them like a motorcycle handle when their men are going down on them.
Mm. There's all sorts of options. And it's just, but yeah, it is for the person actually doing it, for the technician or the specialist that's actually doing it, it's all incredibly matter of fact. For someone that's new there, like you really have to brace your daughters when you're first going in, just to get there, even if you're just going in for a quick tidy up for the beach or something. You've got to brace them.
I asked her, how did she get into this work? And quite literally, her neighbor was doing it out of her basement and was so overwhelmed with work. She said, just come here and watch what I do. And she said, my first, 20 or 30 were probably the most painful ones that I've done. And then it just reached the point. You prepare them. It's like getting a kid ready for a shot. Okay. And then, getting them relaxed.
Yeah.
So for all you who want Monty to go and have a Brazilian wax for the first time, just type yes in the chat room.
Yes, and then realize,
yes.
and then prepare for disappointment.
We will start up a GoFundMe campaign for Monty's first Brazilian wax.
Well, remember that my body's a temple, so that means I'm tax exempt.
All right, I've just put my yes in.
Do you have a group on in Australia?
No, probably not at the moment. We're in the middle of winter. So
that person is a menace to society.
Do you know what she's wearing around her neck? Do you know what she's wearing around her neck? Do you know what she's wearing around her neck?
GPS tracker. It should be on her ankle.
It's an ozone machine.
Okay. Well, because she's so large. Is that a face joke?
No. It's an ozone machine. It's something people with heavy duty mental illnesses that psychologists give them.
Okay.
Oh.
She's the lovely lady.
She has a phobia of germs.
Okay. She went into a Brazilian wax type person and wanted to have a Brazilian, and they said no. And so she went nuts and tried to sue them. It's like that whole because strangely enough, the people there they like to do Brazilians on the original equipment, and she has his original equipment. It's that whole Alan Elliott Page thing again. Elliott Page done great work. No, he hasn't. She did. So anyway,
So, what is the lady's karma? I did not see anyone type anything in there. We must have some people in here who need motivation.
Oh, careful! Andrew's gonna call everyone chicken shits again.
Oh,
No
Melinda, clue. No clue bullshit. You're just not tapping into your intelligence of what a Brazilian waxer could be.
I would say she's collecting karma from the last 17,000 lifetimes, and she's like, yeah, remember back in Germany, and that one time where you stabbed me on the field of battle in France, rip.
All right. Well, in terms of like my first answer to this would be, well, we'd dance around the topic of karma, and purely just karma, not this life's contract or anything like that. Clearly, she's got stuff in her history where she's worked in. It would have to be in something torturous. It'd have to be in a role of torture somewhere to be doing that, because it's a bizarre thing to be doing this in the most sensitive area of the human body, professionally, and actually getting paid in this lifetime. Good job. But I'll guarantee she's got a past lives, 10, 15 lives, in some sort of torture role in her past life, in terms of the karma that's come through from that as well. But what else would she have in there karmically? What is this? I don't know. So karmically in this life, what she's creating, that's fascinating. I've got no idea what that would be.
What is the karmic soup around her? Cleaning up down there, cleaning a person up down there.
What spiritual hygiene's going on?
Exactly.
Yeah. Spiritual hygiene, there's a thought. Can I unleash, Andrew? What is it?
Well, obviously she had some Spanish Inquisition karma going on.
I didn't expect that.
I like that one, Robert. Thank you.
Monty's evil laugh. But all right, so what is she creating in this life? What's going on with the role this time around?
She's a highly spiritual person, very, very grounded. Just wanted to know about really her past lives. She's got her own spiritual practice, ex-Catholic, recovered from it. 2 kids, kids having their own issues, trying to figure out what to do in life. She tried getting them into the waxing business, but they couldn't handle it. So one's trying to become a lawyer and another one's trying to do some kind of fashion stuff. So
enough, still in a painful career. Yeah, it's kind of ironic.
So, well, on the topic of this too, we could go into I was just looking it up. I saw the article a few days ago. I can't remember where it is now. There's 15 countries in the world where sex work is illegal now, but there was one that just actually passed all the bills and all the good stuff they need to make sex workers legal again. That was this week, and I've been digging and I can't find the article. It actually came out through mainstream Rupert Murdoch media, which was quite fascinating that they'd announced that through there. So obviously they're big supporters of it, but because there's places like the Netherlands and places like that where it's been legal for a while. Sex workers should be legal. The whole, that's really old school religion that drives the laws. It's all it's all.
What was the second profession? The first profession was fishing. The second profession was sex worker.
Yeah,
and they smell the same. So, yeah.
But you look back to ancient Rome, places like that, and the sex workers were actually the muses. They were actually revered, respected, truly honored.
Yeah, unless they were tied at a post and fucked until they died, which was common in the Roman Empire. What they did to slaves when they didn't obey, because nobody really wants to talk about the dirty part of Rome.
Yeah, well, and remember, the Romans were gender inclusive. It didn't matter male or female.
Right.
They didn't think, they weren't homosexual, but they just butt fucked their slave, and he's walking funny. But it was weird. Oh no, I'm attracted to women, but you just had there wasn't a girl close by.
You just need the variety. You just need the variety every now and then.
Yeah, just pep up the spirits, clean the pipes.
But let's get back to the whole. I was telling a story earlier, and I thought I'd save it for the show. But one of the things, like I had at one of the courses I was teaching, it was a smaller one. There was only about 80 people at it. And those ones that we tend to sit down and actually everyone introduces where they've come from, because there's no accidents, right? Everyone that's in that room is there to learn from each other. And I had one girl as we're going around, gorgeous young girl, and she said she was a massage therapist. Now, just so you know, if you ever come to my live programs, when I look at you, I see the whole of who you are. So there's no point pretending around me because I can see who you are. I don't out people. That's not what I'm here to do. But this particular girl, it was too important that she actually shared what she did. So she announced that she was a massage therapist. And I said, okay, well, we can call it that if that's what you want to call it. Or you could just tell everyone here in this safe space what you actually do for a living. And she was a sex worker, and a very good one, highly revered, worked in the best brothel in Melbourne in Australia. It's for those looking for it. It's called Gotham.
No. It's good. Don't give them free advertising unless any.
But the reason someone's just in the chat room said revered. You should revere sex workers at the moment. They are so essential. People have become so misdirected by what sex is. Porn's done such damage to what you think sex is. And sex, human connection, we are a pack animal. Human connection is really important, and sex is awesome. That's one of the best ways to do it. Now, like, it's many people have on this topic.
This just in. A woman with 5 children says sex is wonderful. Back to you, Melissa.
But look, I'm a big fan of it because it's critical to the human experience.
How big of a fan are you?
Let's not get into that. Come on.
This is a comedy show. You opened the door.
Yeah, comedy, not confession.
Exactly.
How big was it? That's worst joke structure.
I'm actually trying to focus on what I'm saying. The chat room is hysterical at the moment. But so yeah, this is a whole other topic we can go right into about just how important this is, how ridiculously contaminated it's become in terms of some delusion of moral. But and we can thank, the Catholic Church in particular, but an awful lot of churches and all the rest. And really, why would you listen to them? They're known for raping young boys. Yeah, negative, we're going to that. But in terms of going back to the story of the Brazilian waxer, and I do want to get more into what her karma is and what she's doing, but anyone that's not sexually experienced, that's just it. If you're sending someone young to go and have their first Brazilian wax with a professional professional waxer that's obviously really good at their job, particularly if someone's sort of sexually inexperienced, you need to really warn them what's going to go on, or it actually becomes quite a trauma, and literally so, if they don't know what's going on. But and I'm sure that adds to the karmic suit of what's around these professional Brazilian waxers. But what are they doing to the young people, because it's male and female that go to them,
traumatized,
that are going in there?
Well, yeah, the old back and sack.
Yeah. I had to ask because I went overtime with this lady after I went through the questions that she had. I'm like, I gotta know that there's things that I gotta know. So what's it like doing that job on a regular basis? Like, so you see parts all the time, some big, some small, some look foreign and alien, some look like they've had way too much, some look like they've never been touched and they're like 70 years old. And yeah,
some
she's
are
like
really badly scarred.
Badly scarred. Some have
had many children.
Yes, been like tattoos. They've had tattoos, piercings. Yeah. Yes, and she has to tell everyone that before a wax, all piercings have to come out.
Yeah.
Or otherwise they will anyway.
Oh, they will come out anyways.
That's right.
Right.
But better that you take them out on your terms than theirs. But oh gosh. But yeah, it's someone's saying stop.
No, something about the smells. She says she has a spritz for that, which is just a mister that takes all the smell away.
Yeah, you think people would just take care of the hygiene before they got in there, but
no, some have
met humans.
Some just have a no. Some, she said, some women just have a smell no matter how clean they are.
Yeah, well,
you know what
Gwyneth Paltrow's done. Look, Gwyneth
it's a pheromone.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what Gwyneth Paltrow? She's made candles using her vagina, and so the candle has the scent of her vagina.
And they sold out in record time.
It sold out
in record time. And
Yeah,
it's
and
just,
like it's like that. I'm on a Instagram. I can't remember her name, which is a good thing. But she sold bath water. She sat in the bath for 5 minutes and then put it in a jar and sold it on the internet. And all these simps, as they call them, I think that's short for simpleton. But anyway, a lot of men bought it because, like, you know, it was touched by her. And yeah, I mean, I am an optimist, but I am cynical. So, like, you know, humanity, we win, we graduate. Not all of us. Some of us just stay here and, like, I bought some bath water, really expensive. I haven't even opened it yet.
You just give me a product idea, Mont. I mean, you know, I'm very high vibrational. When I sit in a bath, I should sell my bath water. Well,
there is a market. There is a market in Japan, as well as selling your used underwear and vending machines.
Yeah, vending machines. It's bad popular. It's like, you know, the businessman comes home from Tokyo. Oh, hang on, I'm feeling slightly horny. I'll just go to a vending machine and get a used panties from a 16-year-old. Those wacky Japanese.
Oh, God, what is the human race doing to itself? Dear God, man.
Well, we've got a historian. Let's say, is this the worst in our history, or is it just, you know, because Mark Twain said, history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. So I'm kind of scared of, like, what is this rhyming? Like, is this a good rhyme compared to earlier? Like, you know, the collapse. If we
rhyme like we're rhyming like rap beats, we've had worse times than this. Mm-hmm. The thing is, what's going on now is so subtly insidious in the way it captures and divides people.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, bam, dead. How many more do I got to kill? Out of bullets, use the sword. Okay? Sword breaks, strangle them. Okay?
Yeah.
Life was a lot more worthless back then.
Yes. I think that also there was more a belief of an afterlife. This is before, like, Freud came in and, you know, the atheist movement, because, you know, I will die for my God and I'll see you in the Elysian fields and everything else like that. Today it's, you know, YOLO, which is, I shared. I've got a great meme that I love. It's two Tibetan monks laughing their heads off, as they do, you know, the good ones. And the monks says to the other one, and then she said, "You only live once." It just makes me laugh. But you are kind of right, because coming from the conspiracy world, where they're talking about, you know, vaccines and there's mass death and depopulation, as Andrew points out, they've got the numbers wrong. Like, there's more than 7 billion of us. That's the one. Look at the joy. And we're not overpopulated. We have bad management because we're owned by idiots, and, you know, owned by psychopaths and run by idiots. And a psychopath is a functioning idiot. So this is what we're in. Sorry, it's just a lot of people who are like, oh, the world's over. It's like, yeah, still, because think about it. Andrew, you both have better memories with me than me, because I'm a lazy time lord, so I can just remember now. I can't remember 3 days ago, let alone
unless it's Star Wars or Doctor Who.
Yeah, unless I actually open up. Like, I must record this bit and shut down again. Like the whole UFO thing.
Did you go outside again yesterday, Mont? Like, you know, last week you had a really exhausting day because you went outside.
He had another one. He had another. Every Thursday is a super busy day for Monty now.
Yeah. And then on Friday I walked to the. I think I'll check my post box, my letterbox. I can't remember. But my Star Trek box set came in, so I've got 10 movies to watch. So that's long weekend. Yay! What do you want me? I could do meth. Right, there's the options, Melissa. Should I watch the Star Trek movies or start using meth? I mean, I'm slightly a bit harsh, but my thing is, like, this doom and gloom stuff. It's kicking. We'll get these sayings out of the way. It is kicking the can down the road. Nothing is happening. there's still distractions that things are happening, but like Andrew has pointed out, what is new? There's no new conspiracy theories. Everything's been said by 2012. The last decade, we've been sort of wading water. Oh, I wouldn't say that. Some of us have been evolving, but in the big scheme of things, it's like, okay, that's like listening to Sean David Morton, because he was on an assignment for 4 years. We'll call it assignment. He was in jail. So him coming back, he's been out for half the decade. And so he's been doing this stuff since the late 80s. And so it's, you hear all the history there, but nothing's really done anything like for 10 years. Like what has happened in the last 10 years apart from the calendar changing?
Like just before Trump was elected, we were trying to come up with a new conspiracy and we couldn't.
Yeah. Yes, we're evolving. Yeah.
Well, no, that's just it. We've discussed this topic before, so sorry if I'm boring people out there listening, but the human race socially hasn't evolved since the late 60s. Socially, we haven't. Technologically, it's gone berserk. We haven't evolved socially. In fact, I would venture to say we're actually going backwards now, socially, in terms of interaction and what's actually going on, which brings me back to the topic of the requirement, the need for people working in sex work, amongst other things, but other sort of specialities. But it's we've definitely gone backwards in that. Now I'm just going to answer. So people commenting on the background behind me, it's this one device will not drop this virtual background, and I don't know what's going on. I believe Mercury's gone direct, and I don't know what's happening astrologically that might be causing these tech issues, but Bruce is having tech issues at the moment, as you can probably tell because he's not here. And so there's been all sorts of weird tech issues, and for some reason this device won't drop it. So it is, I'll hop down there, it is QBI healing. Someone said, am I OB healing? So, no, I'm not cashing on
the better OB one. Yeah, the better OB show. Yeah.
And I do like the question that Colleen asked about how many past lives has Monty lived as a cat. I think that's a valid question. Let's play with that, Andrew.
954 lifetimes has Monty been a cat.
Now the question is Andrew being real? Or did he just pick a number?
So his Lord and ruler Scoff Chops, who lives with him now, who just bosses him around all the time. Why is she? What's the karma? Why has she had to come in this life while Monty's pretending to be human?
Well, because she's the one that motivates Monty to go out every Thursday.
That's right.
By being extremely annoying, so I have to leave the house. That's pathetic.
Yes.
On both sides.
But it works.
It works. Okay.
It works.
Next, you will be the cat and meowing at her when she's the human.
It's one of the very few humans that Scoffy actually tolerates. I can tell you that she is remarkably alien. She's really cool. She's a very cool cat.
Yeah, I'm trying to teach her patience, and she just looks at me and goes, you and your quaint ideas.
Have you noticed that she doesn't really interrupt you in the shows anymore? In the beginning, she used to interrupt you in the shows all the time.
You mean this show?
Yes.
Because all the other ones.
This show. No, this show. This show.
This show she doesn't?
No, not in the last many, many months. In the beginning, all the time.
It's probably because I'm here now. She loves me.
No, this has been going on for quite some time. This was maybe a year in the making. Because we've been doing the show just over 2 years now, right, Monty?
Yeah, April 2020.
Yeah.
The Time Lord brings out the dates.
Yeah. I can't remember it, but I can remember. I can use the calendar. Which one, Robert? Which one's me?
Both.
Yeah.
But
you're the closet in the background.
I'm a bit of wood.
Now I can't remember what show I tuned into. Oh no, this is how it happened. I was working away randomly at the desk and got a message that something was wrong with Monty and that I should look in on him. And I looked in on Monty and he looked pretty stressed and he was clearly having a hard day. So I actually texted Monty and quickly said to me, okay, what's going on? And he said, I had a really big day yesterday. It was really, and he said, I've just finished the show with Andrew, doing a show with Andrew. I talked about him there and go to YouTube and listen. And Monty's enormously traumatizing, exhausting day was that he actually went outside. So, like, Andrew and I quietly had a chuckle about that later.
No. He went out and did an improv group, had to have a battery change, had to go shopping, and then had souvlaki at the end.
And you're forgetting the 2 shows as well.
Oh, yeah, and two radio shows.
Yeah.
I love that you remember the souvlaki, but
yes, the Greek man remembers.
That's exactly remembers the souvlaki, exactly.
Because it's so strange, like the souvlaki or gyro, or it's basically okay. Southern European, they burn the meat, they add it to salad, and then they have like a flat bit of bread, and you wrap it up and you add garlic sauce, and it's got 17 different names. And if it's done well, it's delicious.
It is.
People are asking, what's my favorite Greek dish? Leg of lamb. Greek leg of lamb.
Oh, leg of lamb. I thought you said Lego lamb. Lego lamb?
What the hell is Lego lamb? Lego lamb. But I also like something called katsiki, which is lamb intestines filled with other types of pork and lamb and highly spiced. Then some of the Greeks' pastries like galataboudiko, really good. Spanakopita when baklava when done right, and not have been yayad by a grandmother that can't actually remember a recipe and pass it on to the future. That's rampant in Greek tradition. Like, you get a recipe from a grandmother and you go to do it, and it's like they purposely are self-destructing you.
Yes.
Okay, you will never learn how to do it right.
Yeah, like like how grandma used to make. Like, I miss both my grandmothers have moved on, and I miss the way they did chicken. It's just that uniqueness in cooking. It's like cooking is an art and baking is a science, but there's still art in the science. And it's interesting where, like, oh, my mum used to make the best blah blah blah, and if you tasted it, you probably throw up. But for the kids, it's like, this is fantastic. Like, to quote Mo Sislak, there's a part in my mouth and everyone's invited. And I miss my dad's mum's, the way that she did chicken. It was just a certain way. I'm sure you've got.
Yeah, exactly. And then there are some more unique things. Like, my very first time I went to Greece. So I'm with my dad, and he hadn't been back in 41 years. He left and never went back. And really, really funny stories. He's like, all right, we're going to go get some American food. We're going to go and have pizza. So we went to this place that was down by the sea. It has a sign. It says pizza. And guess how the pizza came out? It came out where the dough was clearly like regular bread dough. And then in the center was a whole bunch of cheese that was like a casseri cheese, so very hard cheese liquefied with a deep fried fish with a whole head in the center. That was the pizza. Okay, no red sauce, no nothing, and then olive oil and lemon juice on the deep fried fish. Was it tasty? Yes. Was it pizza? No. And then overall, my most favorite food in Greece, I mean, because there's so many unique ones, but was the actual traditional gyro, which is made with pork belly and pork loin. If it's like the gyro meat here in the United States is not gyro meat. Like, when it's actually made with pork belly, they got to understand pork belly is like the filet mignon of the pig. That was, the flavor was so amazing. And then my first experience walking around in downtown Athens, I go, why has everybody got fucking corn on the cob and chewing on it? Because it's like their national like dessert dish. Everywhere they go, somebody's got, corn on the cob on a grill and selling it. And it was unique to having a beer, walking down the street with a beer and a corn on the cob.
They go together really well, though.
Yes, they do.
I love the corn on the cob. Yeah. But we've got probably.
This is not pizza.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
No, I'm lucky enough to have some really great friends that are Greek, and my family my immediate family, I mean, it's just me, but I've got a lot of kids. Our family's loud and full of laughter, and the house is full of great food. I love cooking, so I love the science of cooking, so I love cooking. And so it's always that. But I've got a couple of friends, a couple of families that are Greek families that we're really close to, and we always have to kind of brace ourselves for the family interaction, you know, because it's just the best experience ever to go and have a dinner with the big Greek family. And it's hysterical and it's loud and it's fun and we just have a ball. But my kids hit overload. Yeah. Like my kids will just be like, oh my God, like it's just so loud, so big, so full on. And there's just food. And they're forever trying to feed us. Like it's just fatten them up.
You're too skinny. What are you doing? You need to put on weight.
Right.
You can walk on your legs free, without support.
I love all the Greek ERs that are doing that to us. You know, I love the ERs that are feeding us up and we're not eating enough and we're just, you know, and it's just the love and the incredible relationship in those families is just amazing. And it's we love doing it, but we always come home just absolutely overloaded with sensory stuff. But it's God.
And now the other thing is doing a whole lamb on the spit, which is like doing a roast. Well. That's the best. That's or a goat or whatever it is. That's just to die. That's like top notch 5-star cuisine for me.
Look, next time you and I are in the same area on Earth, anytime, I do a phenomenal leg of lamb. And I go the Greek palate when I do it. So I will do that for you because when I say to people I'm doing that, I end up with hundreds at my house. So
yes, allegedly, not me. But Melissa, I'll bring you in.
Oh, you should have my chicken mignons. My chicken mignons, people line up for.
This is my cunning plan. Like we don't actually. I mean, you can leave the country. Yes, I'm not saying you're not allowed to. But all our international friends can come here. Because I'm tired of going, you know, everyone going like, because we're so far away. It's like, come here. There's room. You'll probably want to stay because it's so far to go. So, I'll talk to Sean. I'll talk to Andrew. I'm swaying on Bruce because, I'm not really interested. It's like, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, that sounds nice. One for me. You can come to Australia. And I mean, it's the oldest living civilization on the planet.
What's Monty's potluck dish? What's your special dish, Mont? He does cook for himself, everyone. This is a well-equipped man, ladies, I tell you.
I'm alive. My mum said, do you cook? I'm alive, aren't I? So at some point, yes, I would have eaten. Simple. I like to get toast some bread and then put a thin layer of Vegemite. That's the trick. A thin layer, not
you just dab it, everyone. You don't spread it. It's dabbing.
It's thin, and hopefully it's soft enough instead of actually breaking through the bread because it's like solid. Then putting cheese on, and then putting that under the grill and having toasted cheese with Vegemite as well.
No, he does actually cook real stuff as well, not just
I know.
But he's
no one listens to me. I said no one listens.
I listen to you, Monty. You cook sausages very well. You cook minced meat very well. You cook frozen pizza. He's a grandmaster frozen pizza chef.
Yeah, thank you. 5 years ago.
But I want to talk about the grandma thing. The whole theory of food tastes better when made with love, right? You hear that all the time. I honestly believe it. When it comes to like the parental relationship, if you're a parent of a child, without a doubt, that's a karmic relationship. But the relationship between a grandparent and the grandchild, and anyone that's a grandparent out there, and enter the chat room, people, tell us about it. Oh, I'm sorry. I hate that people thing. Sorry about that. But sorry that I did that. But absolutely, the relationship grandparent and grandchild is a spiritual relationship. It's a whole different level to the parental relationship to a child. And we go right into that. So there's no doubt in my mind, and I agree with Mont, like when my grandmother's cooked food for me, it was the best food ever. But but without a doubt, the grandmother loved me anyway. So the grandmother loved me. But and I'm sure that that's part of it. I'm sure that it's part of that incredible relationship with the grandparent role, that the food that comes from them is as nurturing and as nutritional spiritually as it is physically. for anyone too.
Well, I have a theory about that. It's because the grandparents are like, oh, cool, another human, I can start again because I failed with the children. And if the little ones get too annoying, you can hand them back to the parents. So there's a way out. So
I have a grandma story. So my grandmother, she insists you can fit 42 people at a table for 12. And this is a Greek thing. So anybody that's Greek in the room knows exactly what I'm talking about. 42 people can be at this table, and you have the arguments of where to put all the stuff. So my brother brought a girlfriend over, and it was like the first time bringing a girlfriend to a family Christmas dinner. And so she's vegetarian. And she's beginning to experience some of the more unique Greek foods, something that's called tatama. You guys know what that is?
Ah.
It's fish roe.
Yes.
Okay. And it's very tart. And she bit into it, not realizing what it was, and the look on her face like she was ready to vomit. Oh. And then when it came time for the lamb, and she's like, I'm vegetarian. And my grandma's like, that's fine. The lamb's grass-fed.
Yeah.
Literally, she just instantly and cut it and put it on her plate.
Yeah. That's the other fun part of the grandparents. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Exactly.
That's like that line from the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding when he says, I'm a vegetarian. She goes, oh, that's okay. I make lamb.
Yes. This is grass-fed. Don't worry.
I'm a vegetarian, so is the lamb. That's what a coinkydink.
But I like whenever I'm catching up with all our fabulous Greek family friends, they always ask me if I'm Greek because my name's Melissa, which in Greek means honeybee. And actually, Melissa are also Aphrodite priestesses. I prefer that one. But there's lots of things like that. But I always get asked, and I always say, look, I could be. I mean, I know I'm blonde and I'm blue-eyed, but I could be from the north. And they all start to. She could be too. She's Greek. She's
Thessaloniki.
Greek.
Yes, you could be very easily from Thessaloniki. Yes.
Yeah, those Vikings got around, but leaving some DNA here and there.
After that, they're happy. I'm just part of the family. But
the only way I would get out of that. The only way I would get out of that is there's a hint of Polish in my family tree. So, Scottish, Welsh, English with a hint of Polish, because I think my great grandmother was Polish. She was born in Dusseldorf, but yeah, Polish or Prussian, depending on what time of the map was made. So that's like northern Greece, isn't it? Poland?
Yes. No, way more north, but yes.
Yeah. North Greece. Yeah.
But look, on Christmas Eve, I do a dinner on Christmas Eve I invite everyone that we consider family, because I don't have any family left. So parents gone, all that. So it's just myself and my kids. And so on Christmas Eve, I do a thing for the people we call family, and it's turned into an enormous thing. I end up on Christmas Day, I'm absolutely physically shattered. I'm so exhausted from it. But that's where I do the 42 people at a table.
At a table for 12. Yes.
I do that. Like if I say to people that I'm cooking this, do you guys want to come over? And word gets out that I'm cooking one of the dishes that everyone loves. And I'll end up with all sorts of people on the doorstep anyway. And that's where my table turns into the table for 42. And everyone just has to wing it. They're eating off their laps. They're, whatever you're doing. But again, the house is just, because I've got amazing, in my own house, I've got kids that are amazing musicians. We've got a whole incredible music area, and everyone's talented, and everyone's, and so it's loud and it's full of music and laughter and noise and everyone knows that they just have to stay out of my way in the kitchen. Everyone wants to help. No one can because they get in my way. Just stay out of the effing way, everyone, because I'm dashing between ovens and stovetops and
that military training comes out.
You get in the way, you're going to get burnt, literally.
Yeah.
So I just don't do it.
Mum's got the tongs again. Just back out slowly.
I got another Greek
cooking.
Yes, I got another Greek food story. So my grandfather, he passed away in early 1984, so I must have been 10 years old. And this is a year and a half before he got cancer and passed away. And I used to go over there on a regular basis because I had two older brothers that were too much for my parents. So I would regularly go over to my grandparents' house for a day here, day and a half here, 2 days there, whatever. And so my mom was going to come pick me up And my grandfather came home from the restaurant because he was still working there at that time, or part-time or something. And he comes home with like this stuff that he gets from the fish market, that white wrapper stuff. So he had some type of white fish, but he also had a whole bunch of fish eyeballs. And he made fish eye soup. My mom came in and was like, what is this stuff? And I couldn't handle, like, even back in the day when there'd always be a leg of lamb head, the whole head in the refrigerator. But I was like, I absolutely got to try this. And these were not the little eyeballs. They were the bigger eyeballs that like come from the bigger fish. They're like big eyeballs. And he had like 35, 40 eyeballs in the soup all looking up at you. But it was full. It must have had 7 squeezed lemons in it, 8 cloves of garlic, and then a fish broth, because he just cooked the fish down, heads and everything, until it made this super broth that was full of lemon and garlic and fish eyes. I loved it. And to this day, my mom couldn't believe that I loved it.
But
it didn't look like that. It was a pure, clean yellow broth.
But the eyeball, like they'll chase you around and make you eat if they cook the whole lamb on the spit, the eyeball from the lamb is considered extremely
the delicacy. Yeah.
It's the delicacy. And I've literally been chased around with it on a fork. Someone's like, the family says, Melissa, you have this.
No, I'll take the eye. Give me the eye. Yes. Brains are okay if done right. I prefer tongue over brain.
No, my dad
What
liked
about tiger blood? I've never had tiger blood. I have had a tiger steak.
In this lifetime? Because
yes, this lifetime, yes. A friend of mine who was a zookeeper, and they're regulars when animals pass away. They use everything from the animal.
Well, that
make sure. Yeah. So I had tiger steak.
I was going to say it was
very much like bear.
That begs the question: how do you know what bear tastes like?
Bear is a very tasty meat.
Yeah, yes. I know. I'm asking you how you know that. I'm not saying it isn't.
People are asking, what haven't I eaten? Quite a bit. There have been things that I've vomited up. I have a rule. I will eat it once. Okay? And I'm an adventurer when it comes to eating. Now, like the first time I had brain, was I challenged chewing it? Yes, because I knew it was brain. It had the texture of brain. It chewed like what you would think brain was, but the sauce that it was in was amazing. Okay,
yeah, you probably noticed. Yeah.
Amazing tongue when done right. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of tripe. Too chewy.
Yeah, me too. Yuck.
It's a great Simpson thing. Like, do they expect us to eat this tripe? And ladies and free from the meat board is tripe. And the kids are like, yay. It's a good wordplay. I like it.
Okay. I have eaten Rocky Mountain oysters, and it was a challenge. Let me tell you, it was a challenge to eat bull nuts. Okay. Was it tender? Was it soft? Absolutely it was. And it's about your brain getting it over. Like the first time I had chocolate covered spiders or chocolate covered ants. Okay.
Well, give it, say, 3 to 4 months. And if the famine comes along, you won't be alone with all these weird tasting foods. Because, which I don't think it's not natural. Like, how many food processing plants have been set on fire in the last 6 months?
18.
Yeah, 18. Nothing sus.
Somebody in the chat room, alligator does not taste like chicken. Alligator tastes like alligator. It is the pork of the reptiles. Okay? And it is an acquired taste.
Now, I'm going to spin off completely away from this topic for a second and just say, Tina, I've got your back because I saw your question ages ago. And so, because Tina was asking, is Botox bad for the pineal gland? Yes, it is. But to spin into that, earlier Monty broke the heartbreaking news to me that apparently Justin Bieber is suffering from, what is it, facial paralysis or something?
Yeah, Bell's palsy type of, yeah.
And so, And I immediately had a look and said he's been hit with a Botox injection accidentally in the nerve. That's actually what's happened. And so that was because I immediately had a look in when Monty said it before. This is before the show. Botox bad for the pineal? Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Botox it's a very nasty bacteria. And so, which they want to believe is contained so like in these infusions and injections that they're putting in there. But yeah, so I'm sorry to break, to the Justin Bieber fans out there. I'm sorry for that.
All three of you in the room, yeah.
Is there when he said that to me, I went, who? Oh my God. Yeah. Those, what the hell? What are people doing now?
That's 4D
just recently died?
Animation. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And here I am pointing out I won't dye my hair. I'm not doing that either. Like, it's just higher cheekbone. There's a point where they go too far when people's like, you've had work done because you look ridiculous now. Yeah. Where like Angelina Jolie has natural lips. Like, it's natural for her.
Not anymore.
No. Those are like fucking lips that have been hit by an iron. Yeah. I cannot state those lips, or they're like,
yeah, that's the point I'm trying. One day I'll finish a sentence. This is what I'm trying to point out is before surgery. Then they exaggerate it all, and it looks ridiculous. Like, even Ron Weems says you just want to lick the lips and stick it to something because it looks like a suction cup. And it's, I'm not a big fan of breast implants because it's like you look ridiculous now. You looked okay when your natural shape, but now you can be used as a buoyance device if we're sinking at sea. And also, you're going to have a bad back. I'm sorry, I'm more of a butt man. I'm not a breast man, because every time I see big breasts, I just think, oh, that poor lady in her spine.
Well, ladies that are out there, you know what Monty likes. He likes big butts, and he cannot tell a lie.
No, I didn't say big butts at all.
So, what kind of butts do you like,
start
Monty?
Working on the squats, everyone.
Tell us, Monty. Inquiring minds want to know, what type of butt shape is your favorite?
Oh, really? Oh my God!
Caption this.
Oh my
God! Does anyone have some darts?
Honestly, yeah.
Pop that swelling.
Thank you, Monty.
Yeah. So you need to see a doctor. I like a firm buttock, fit, not skinny, fit, toned, natural, just, normal.
I can't believe you've taken the moment to still answer that question. Go on, you might put it out there.
He'll keep going on and on. He won't shut up. I mean, he has the ability to look at my... He has the ability of looking at my Akashic record and give me a survey of the last 10,000 lifetimes of, so you like the Greek bottom instead of the Algerian bottom. No. He wants this version of me to tell him on global radio, which has been recorded for all future time and space. I like fit.
Yeah.
Healthy.
One of my daughters went on a date a few days ago, and somewhere in amongst it, they ended up 10-pin bowling, and apparently she was bending over picking up the bowling ball, and she turned around, and all these guys were like congratulating her date.
You picked a good one.
Yeah, they're all like, congrats. She turned around, she sort of, and I said to her, she said, what the hell was that? And I said, look, I'm sorry, genetically, we've got good butt. It's just we've got good butt, and so she's just,
baby got back. Yeah. Baby got back.
Apparently there was like 10 guys were all like, oh mate, you've done well, yeah, good choice.
And going back to this is why sex is like, those 10 men have no idea what a woman is. Like, well done, you've met one. and she looks good. Tell us about it afterwards, because we have no, the rise of the incel. I mean, it's such a psychological problem. There's incels, which is involuntary celibacy, the celibate, but they hate women. It's like, well, oh, gee, there's a clue. Why are you celibate? You hate women. Is there a connection? I don't know. Like, yeah. And if they're heterosexual, It's the now if you're homosexual and you hate women, you're just a prick, really. Like, just evolve. Stop hating on people. It's so weird finding as well. Like when women hate gay men, like the passion they have. I don't know if they're upset that I can't have a chance with you, but Milsey, you've met probably maybe it's just an Australian thing. But like I understand men hating the gay community because they haven't dealt with their own sexuality and realized that they're half bi or whatever.
But lately homosexual themselves,
yeah. But it's when women are upset with male homosexuals, I just find that like, what's the problem? Because like, strangely enough, I'm a man, and when I see two female homosexuals, like there's a lot of videos on the internet about that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm hanging with the wrong women. Usually if I meet or if any of us meet any of my friends, anyone, kids, daughters, whatever, if I meet a gorgeous man and it turns out he's gay, you kind of just go, oh, you don't go, I hate you. It's just kind of, oh, okay, well, that's off the table, damn it. But
maybe I can convert them.
It's always the good ones.
All right, somebody was asking.
There. I have converted a few, but a lot of people are now asking what Andrew's preference is. They're all
I'm going to answer that. So I like body parts that talk back. Now, having a psychic ability, bodies speak to me. I started as a hands-on healer. Body parts speak to me. So during intimate moments, I may, like a puppet energy, left boobie might say this, right boobie might see, the left butt cheek may say this. I like body parts that talk. It doesn't matter what shape or size, it's what do they speak to me? What is the body language in that moment speaking? Now, to be more thing, it's not necessarily the firm, it's how it fits the shape. The human shape, because when you're in a lover moment, it's not one part, though that may be part of the whole journey in engrossing yourself into a place or a space that just has unique energy. So it's how it speaks to me and how it's connected to the rest of the body.
So, like, if you have a hard night drinking, and then the next day after sleeping 12 hours, and you decide to go to a convenience store or a grocery store, and you're wandering heavily hungover, wearing some sunglasses, and people's body parts start yelling at you. Is that a bad day?
It happens.
Like, I just want some cigarettes, and someone's basically going, hey, Greek boy, hey, come here. Hey.
It happens. It does happen. There have been many butts that have yelled out, "Look at me! I can't stop."
Okay? Well, it's like I mentioned this to Melissa before, where because I am a sleeper cell, spiritually, I'm a sleeper agent. Like, apparently, this is the dream, and this is where I have my time off. I have no idea what I'm doing on the other side. I must be working frantically and doing well, but this one, I'm like completely oblivious. I'm totally 3D. But sometimes when I'm at a shopping mall or shopping center, so I went global there, I walk past someone and I have flashes like. And here's a pamphlet from the Akashic Records of my entire life. Like, I don't know who you are. Where do I get that? It's just I don't know if my higher self's like, you have this power, but not right now. I'm not offended, or it's not like, oh my God, this person's going to go kill someone.
So somebody was asking what happens when the cheeks don't agree. Well, that happens frequently. So regularly you might have princess cheek and then or angel or demon cheek. And then that's the verbiage that can come out of them that I may bring back to the environment. Drama booby versus princess booby. Princess booby wants the care and the caressing, and the drama booby just wants the attention all the time. Or the buttocks parts, or whatever other part, because I verbalize what I experience, and it's a unique part of the journey. Some people laugh their ass off and get to the point where they go, during that slow time. So what does Princess Booby want right now?
Princess Booby, we meet again. Yeah.
You are my kryptonite, Princess Booby.
If you're an ambassador, is this your ambassadorship? Where is the ambassador? Yes.
The chat room is going wild. The chat room's going wild. You guys are amazing. It's hard not to.
That's why we do it. Well, we're not doing this whole tears of a clown crap. Like, we like to laugh as well. I don't like it when comedians laugh at their own
Robert's
jokes.
having trouble keeping up too.
Best of jokes ever.
Yes.
People are writing down notes, Andrew. They want more details.
Okay. Men that are out there, when you have a moment where you know you're going to have an extended experience with a lady, get some olive oil, ask them if they can get olive oil in their hair and brush out their hair and give them a scalp massage. An intense scalp where you're really getting deep all over the different parts of the scalp and brush out the hair, because brushing the hair is one of the most relaxing things for a woman. And you got to learn not to get the knots, not to pull on. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, don't be male about it. Yeah.
Okay. It's a very intense experience, a very, very intense experience, especially if you know you're going to be in the zone for a few days.
Yeah, and for the ladies, all you have to do is say
no
hello.
one's asked me. Has anyone noticed that no one's asked me what I'm looking out for? But I will say to Frida, who mentioned it ages ago, multidimensional sex, that's where I live, Frida. Absolutely.
So we are now going to inquire, what is Melissa like?
We won't go there, but the whole
you're avoiding. No.
Then why bring it up?
Exactly.
No one's asked me. Well, what is it? I'm not going to tell you.
Everyone wants to know what the single men want.
You're just playing hard to get. You're just playing hard to get. Come on.
No, actually, Andrew knows I've been consciously solo for a long time. So, and I was
Melissa and I we're on a pond phase from Vulcan. Every 7 years we have to have a release. But apart from that, and it's great where like there's all these people that are around to support us. Now, obviously not to get together because it's like, sister. But they keep activating our sex drive, don't they? It's like, you need to do this.
People that don't like that we deliberately tried to, both of us, and we didn't, this wasn't a joint thing between Monty and I. We both just decided shutting that down for a while. And so and then close friends that are amazing healers from around the world just really dislike that and keep on doing it.
It's a survival mechanism. Because being a hermit, being isolated, not constantly. I do leave the house past the letterbox. I have balance and I meet people. I've got to help my parents and I go shopping. So I make jokes and so I meet people. But being a hermit, it's awesome. You don't have to worry about yourself. You start looking after yourself. You argue with your cats. If the house is messy, it's your fault. It's that whole "it's me, isn't it?" The only issue that I have is the horniness, because you can't release that tension. I'm telling you. Well, you can once or twice, but after 7 years, it's like you kind of need someone else in the room.
That's right. And we're back to the topic of sex workers.
Hold on. Somebody was asking me what are some of the other advices that you can give. I'm a person that likes to give experiences to people. So when you have a partner that you can explore with, I have massage degree, craniosacral, myofascial, using that in a situation normally you could never touch those parts and do those kinds of unique releases and get body responses that enhance the orgasmic process, especially if you know how to do craniosacral, where you're holding the back of the head and the tailbone at the same time, and you're, let's just say, manipulating the vulva with your mouth. You can get some very unique experiences, okay, where you get the full cranial flow going up and down, okay?
Sorry, go on, you Robert.
I liked how I'm pansexual. Well, let's see. Bisexual means you sleep with heterosexual and homosexual. Pansexual means you fuck anything, you dirty pervert. Okay. I'm pansexual. No, what, you have sex with pans?
Giving an experience to a person who's never been exploratory or has been very exploratory but has never looked into those other directions can be so uniquely fun. It can be more fun than the orgasm at times for a man if you learn how to control that energy and how to redirect that energy that's trying to force the heart on back into your hands and into the person, because sex is a give and take process. You can take your side of the energy and place it into them in such a way where it puts them into that highest state and allows them to hold that state.
Yeah, well, everything, electric universe, we are energy and multi-dimensional. So, that's the other thing. I put boundaries on myself. It's like, I just don't want to meet a sex worker and have 20 seconds of fun. I want to touch the face of God. So, yeah.
That's where it should be, though. That's where it should be. You should take it to every freaking level. And it's not like when I've had lovers, I don't warn them. Maybe I should. But I don't warn them who they're actually engaging with. I just let loose and
I do.
I just let loose and let them enjoy it. But as I was complaining recently, they don't seem to get over it. They seem to become stalkers and stuff. So yeah, that gets a bit dangerous. But it's no, it is. It actually is. That being said, there's so many tantric workshops and stuff out there, and
that's dirty.
Tantra stuff is a little bit like Reiki, if you've heard of the energy work Reiki, and I'm sure you guys have. It's become really bastardized over the years. Not Reiki, Reiki has too, but Reiki and tantric stuff has become really bastardized.
Or tantric Reiki. That's a real thing. Tantric Reiki. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
And it's and all of those have become just so while we're saying about all that amazing connection, what you can do and how you can do it, we're not. I'm personally not recommending going down that tantric path.
So body painting is my other most favorite thing. So after you've had a unique orgasmic experience and you're in that super relaxed state, body painting is absolutely amazing. Love it. Love body painting.
Yeah, I can't think of a joke. It was like, yeah, cool. That sounds
cool. I've got heaps of funny stories, but they're all, I don't want to sort of out anyone. So it's like,
well, yeah, this is not a confession. This is a comedy show. It's one time at band camp.
Where did the flute go?
The old night flute. Yeah, well, yeah.
But like in a single sentence, the best sex is sex where you genuinely connect. That's it.
Yes.
So it's not a paint by numbers, like it's not one of those sex by numbers. This is what I'm doing. And it's certainly not what's put out there in fucking porn. That's just so goddamn stupid and disconnected and harmful and but
well, because everyone's different, and it comes down to an element of communication. Like
that's right.
You have to talk.
Thanks, Robert. A few of them have showed up like that because I do airbrushing, and I've incorporated airbrushing into my healing. So it's kind of like acupuncture with air. And after you've had a moment where a body has been highly motivated into that level, you'd be surprised what that airbrush does and how fast it will motivate more orgasmic states.
I'm just wondering, you don't live in a small town because everyone would know when you were successful on a date because this person's walking around painted completely. Oh, that Bartzis kid did well. Look at that. Hello, ladies.
Yes, using the massage skills and the healing skills, which is a no-no in the normal client-patient relationship. But when you're in an intimate relationship, there are some very unique things that you can create that are not only extremely fun, but powerful sexual healing.
Yeah, well, they're not a patient. So, I mean, that... Robert, what?
That's actually a search link for some really beautiful body paintings.
Yeah, that's why
I can't show them all on here, but there's some amazing bodywork painting out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So doing airbrushing on the body, like actually painting the whole body with the airbrush, like the whole body based inks and everything. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
You still have to leave a small patch at the back, like
no, these paints are designed for the body.
Yeah, so they allow the skin to breathe.
Yeah. So what you do is you put rubbing alcohol instead of water for the paint.
Oh, okay.
So it dries very fast. And then when using what's called a tint or a glitter style or a fluorescent, you can make the curves glow, quite literally glow. We're doing black light body painting.
Yeah, UV lighting.
Yeah.
It's the same thing but different language. And of course, that's big in the dance scene, whatever it's called now, techno, rave, EDM. Drum machines turned on for 12 hours. But those type of festivals where hippies like them as well. So, I just finished watching Pistol, which is the story of the Sex Pistols, done by Danny Boyle. And it's interesting. Where, like, going back, we haven't evolved that much, and that's what, like, you listen to the Sex Pistols, and it's like, oh, yeah. The band Tism have a great lyric. Paul McCartney said that the Sex Pistols are just playing Chuck Berry. At the time, I thought, you boring old wanker. Now I think it's quite scary because people keep recycling the same music over and over. There's not much good. Gene Simmons says his rock is dead, and then walks on stage to a full stadium and play 40-year-old songs. But I don't listen to him. Yeah, he really hates people that take drugs, but he slept with 3,000 women. So I don't know. Should I listen to a slut about my drinking problem?
Maybe. Maybe.
The Galactic historian with the ambassador are like, maybe you're not part Jewish, are you? Maybe you should. Sit down, have a look. Yeah. What harm can come from this?
No, never mind. I was going to say something. No, believe it me.
Well, you're part of 20,000 Soul Families. I'm sure there's a Jewish chap at the back going, "Hey, hi, how are you?
I've got a nice Jewish lady for you to meet if you just convert."
Yeah, come over.
You gotta drop the whole Galactic historian thing, but you'll be part of the family.
Yeah, you'll become an accountant. Break some bread.
We'll get you a good hat. You'll learn to grow the curls.
Do you like living on the east side? We have a bright place.
You'll be a jeweler.
Do you like wearing hats?
Yes. Mitz has said, Melissa, you did not tell us what you. Mitz has said you did not tell us what you like. You avoided it. Come on.
Well, I'll rephrase. Okay, as a celebrity, as a celebrity, who would like you? Oh, he's not say like Brad Pitt of the '90s or the Fonz in the 80s. Well, like, can you choose a celebrity that a style?
Actually, I can't. That's a
so
really
you
great
don't
topic.
like men at all, or is it just so is it a frequency-based thing?
Men.
Is it because you can see through them, which it's a great sentence. I see through you.
I see all of you, dude.
So,
but it's
because you're multidimensional. Like as I said, I'm very 3D. Alphabet agencies. I could be honeypotted at any moment.
I can tell you purely physical things I don't like.
No, it's what you like. It's what you like. No, don't avoid the question.
No, I don't. But no, I do love men. I don't hate men at all. But I one of the things that are absolute off for me was is saggy man boobs. I don't know why, but saggy.
Well, like really saggy man boobs.
Man boobs.
So do you like the men that can lift their pecs up?
One of the things I love about like the human body and human connection is the opposing structure of the male-female body or the masculine-feminine. I love that the soft, sweet roll of the curve meets the sharp angular of the masculine and all that is in balance with that. And I really love it. So I'm a very feminine build, if you like, physically, and I love the opposite in the man.
Okay, but, I watered the question down. Who would you like to meet who's male in celebrity sort of popular,
I don't know. I don't look
for
at
the love of
celebrities. I don't.
I love men, but I can't point out one.
Okay, Matthew McConaughey, yes or no? Matthew McConaughey, yes or no?
Yeah, yuck. And
George Clooney.
In the old days, not now.
So that's enough. We got an answer. Like,
exactly.
George Clooney from '92.
But it is like no, look, I love someone that's athletic that can keep up with me. I love someone athletic. I don't like doing all the work, and I like someone like when I say look after themselves, I'm not talking. I really if you're ripped up and like you've got 3% body fat and all that stuff, I will admire the work that you've done, but I will avoid you like the plague because you're so self-involved.
Too much time is spent on doing it. But I could see you, like, even just platonically standing next to Taylor Hawkins when he was alive from Foo Fighters.
Yeah, they nailed it. That's gorgeous. Yeah,
thank you.
But that's everything me.
That only took 20 minutes.
That's intelligent. That's talent. That's everything me. Like you're what you're nailing there is that I love someone. What do they call it? I love someone. I'm definitely sapiosexual. I need you to have a degree of intelligence, and I need you to have humor for me to be even remotely attracted to you, even physically. And so it's
any ladies that want to try and meet me, you have to come here. And also don't say you're funny every 30 seconds. You're funny. It's like, yeah, we met at a stand-up comedy show when I was performing. I know I'm funny. That's one thing, a pet peeve as a comic. You're funny. You've said that 18 times. Please. Yeah, I want intelligence and make me laugh.
So what is a big turn off? Hold on. What is a big turn off for me is a person that's going to try to compete psychically all the time. First thing first, I never compete with anyone. I'm a non-competitional being. And so I find these very awkward dating situations where they're always trying to compete. And that's a big, giant turnoff. Just be who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Or they're always asking questions. Ask, even in the middle of intimacy, asking questions.
So why did
aren't you psychic? Didn't you already know?
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's when I fuck with them. Like, yeah, you were a really fat princess. You never were really good at being a princess. I started fucking with them. And like, are you really? I'm like, no, I'm fucking with you. But that's a really big turnoff. Yeah.
I did have one experience where I actually was like sexually with someone, and he said, "Oh wow, that feels so good." And I said, "Yeah, it does. You must be psychic." And he didn't get the joke. And the fact that he didn't get the joke was like, well, that's all over. I'm getting quite turned off already. I feel so good. Oh, you must be psychic. But apparently cracking a joke during sex was too much for him. But I'm not picky at all. Actually, like.
Yes, you are. You're picky.
You turned off.
Yes, you are.
Maybe I am now.
We are.
But what someone looks like is way down the list of whether or not I want to be with them sexually or at all. But I was married to a guy he's like a foot shorter than me, and he's nothing to look at. That sounds horrible, but conventionally you would not have picked that. It was always a shock to people that was my husband.
Is it like that when you look at couples, there's like yourself and him, he must be funny.
Yeah, and actually that all he was. He was funny back then, but he was funny, and that's all he was. But so obviously the whole looks thing, what someone looks like physically, is not a huge thing for me, and it's way more about connection. It's way more about that. But let's see how much time I give him.
And like with my mum and her partner, I remember you saying like they've done this before, like because they both got married, had kids, 2 each, and then found each other. It was mum moved 2 hours away and found a boyfriend a 10-minute drive from where she used to live. So she moved and then came back. But like, let's talk about that, where they used the term twin flames and soul stuff. Now that's not everybody. It depends on different lifetimes. Like, I mean, I had a interesting relationship where I had a flashback of her and myself on top of buildings in Japan in 1503 having a sword fight, and she stabbed me in the kidney, and I'm like, okay, so we've obviously met before. So it's not hard and fast. Everyone meets their twin flame in their lifetimes, because it depending on what is agreed to and what is actually to be achieved. So yeah, but sometimes people do it. Like I don't know, because we're going. What is the best way of explaining what's going on? I call it the change. I can't call it the ascension, because not everyone's going through it. We're doing what, Andrew? What would you call this epoch of time between 2012 and 2035? You're a historian. What would this be labeled as? that weird
for
shit.
men, conspiracy blue balls, and for women, the orgasm that was 1 second long.
Oh, that's sad for everyone.
So you're not going to tell me what? Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's my answer. That's my answer. Okay.
So as we go through these times of blue balls,
you don't get your gloom and doom destruction. The can just gets kicked down the road.
Yeah. Anyway, there's this change, and so I don't know how many people you'd think after the lockdowns there would be a baby boom, but apparently there was more divorces because people were forced to stay in the same room with their partners, and then realized I don't like you.
Whoa.
All right, guys.
I just want to give everyone a heads up too. By the way, I'm actually a really bad flirt. And so not that I flirt a lot. That doesn't mean I flirt badly. I flirt badly. If I'm actually attracted to someone, I become hostile to them. So this is how I stay single.
So you are a bad flirt then.
Yeah, I am actually literally a bad flirt. I'm not like a flirt that flirts too much. If I'm attracted, it just will completely overwhelm me, and I'll be terrified, and so I become quite, no, stay away.
That's being a teenage boy. When people, boys would throw rocks at girls, it's because they like them.
I don't become violent or stupid. I actually just avoid them, and apparently I look hostile.
I don't understand it. I've been sitting on
Melissa,
my couch for years,
in Japan, that is highly sought after in Japan. There's an actual name for it. It's called tsundere, and the person in the chat room just talked about it. But yes, that is a highly sought after attitude in Japan.
Well, look, you've just given me an idea. Earlier we were talking about dominatrix, and we were talking about earlier you were talking about the Brazilian waxer and her karma. And we were saying, and I said, let's save this for the show, but I was saying that usually someone with that sort of past life experience, the karma that's coming from past life, they often become a dominatrix in more recent lives. And I actually was working with a client this week that's a dominatrix professional. And so this is Andrew and I was saying this, what did you have this week that was interesting? what's coming to your room? But yeah, actually everyone this year, and I actually found myself thinking I was going to mention it to Andrew because I would love to know what her karma is actually in this life. She's a pretty fascinating individual, this lady. And at the moment, and
I've had dominatrix on this show several different times, on a regular basis, with her husband too. We did a Christmas dominatrix gift show. It was really quite amazing. People who know me know that on a regular basis, I bring those people on because that subject matter needs to be explored because people are sexually frustrated, sexually broken, and they got to learn what types of experiences you can have that have a playful energy yet a serious tone to it.
Look, our society, privileged society, all of us with devices, is particularly sexually violated now. It's so that's why topics of things like the essential element of a professional sex worker that people can go to, and elements like dominatrix and stuff. And all this goes back through actually all of the human experiences, but of the race, I mean. But yeah, the dominatrix thing is a really fascinating one. And this particular lady's always been a dominatrix, but she is now professional, does it professionally. When I say has always been one, she's always had very young, extremely handsome young men in her life that when she gets tired of them, after usually about 4 to 5 years, she will just abandon them. And then she's actually stopped that and is now professional. And she's and her story is fascinating. I would love to know what this contract is in this life for her, particularly because now she's professional and she's sharing, I want to say the skill set, but the skill set goes far beyond what she's actually doing sexually or in their engagement as well. But she's taken up the role at an even higher level in this life. And so similar to your Brazilian waxer who's taken her level of torture to a whole other level in this life and is getting remunerated for it. And they both are. And so it's actually pretty cool. But can you say, Andrew, generically, what's the background for a dominatrix? Why are they doing that in this life or in the last few lives?
most of them have had previous lifetimes as quality sex workers in which they understood the high-level clientele that they were serving. It actually allowed them to be human beings in that paid scenario because they were never allowed to be who they were in their richy oligarchy type life. Yeah. And so a lot of women who end up becoming dominatrix, it's really about a different form of sensual sexual healing. Yes, that may have an aggression energy, but not violence that is intended to do harm.
Mm. Okay? It's more about control. Yeah, more about control than it's about harm. Yeah.
Right, because those people who are always in control of everyone in their life, they don't know what it's like to be not in control. And it can be very exhilarating to them not being in control.
Yeah.
In a safe space and it's control and release. It's having a release in a controlled atmosphere. And I mean, me personally is like, ouch, stop that. Or, looking at it and going, that's weird. But I do understand if you're confined, that 80 hours a week at work and you're totally in control and you're holding everything. Some people paint, some people go to a dominatrix and wear a nappy and act like a baby.
Well, the fact that even in that really primal environment, they still don't have to make a single decision. It's like the holiday of holidays for them. It's like a vacation. And it's just, and with so many other bonus elements, I guess. But it wasn't anyone, I'm not here to judge anyone. That's not my job in this life for sure. And so I think she was fascinating to work with this week. And she actually contacted me because she has a physical imbalance. Like, she actually contacted me for healing, and we ended up talking about so much more beyond it, which is great. But the physical stuff was good.
Sometimes it doesn't even have to be sexual with the dominatrix.
No.
Sometimes it isn't sexual at all. It's just the experience of losing control. Yep. With that said, we are going to open up the callers now. So I'm going to leave it to Melissa and Monty to encourage our audience to raise their hand.
Raise your hand.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Yeah. And if you don't raise your hand, Andrew will call you names because we're terrible at it. So, right. Oh, now
and two men have raised their hand. You chicken shit women.
See, name calling. Now, if you want to raise your hand, you go to reaction. Hey, stop, pause. I'm answering a question. You click on reactions and then you click on the raise hand icon if you're on the internets, on the Mobley, which is interesting. I thought you would call that a cell phone. Yes. Quite. But there you go. So you go ahead. We have 4 people.
There it is.
Yeah. See, I'm helping out. So that could be a problem where raise your hand and half the people are like, I don't know how to. But now you do. So that's me.
I just looked. Good job, Mont, because I just looked it up myself on how to do it on this device as well. So thanks for that.
It's a learning experience for all. That's what I do.
I'll put my hand up so everyone knows I can do it too. Here you go, raise hand. Is it up?
All right, Robert. Yes. Let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who wants to have a conversation.
First person in this hot conversation will be Val. Signal to unmute, Val.
Val, are you there?
Val is here.
Hi. Where are you calling from?
Decatur, Georgia.
Decatur, Georgia. Welcome to the show. What do you think of what we're talking about?
Oh, I think that this is amazing because I have a friend who I spent the last weekend with who was totally like in a dominatrix like relationship, and I'm not like that with her, right? Like, we're friends. But, I can kind of get that, but it's not my deal.
What is your deal?
My deal is that I'm too, lovey-dovey. I'm just, want to know the next trip to go home. That's my deal. I want to be, on the passage to go home to the next world. Bam. That's it. That's what I want.
Strange dating thing there, but yeah, okay. Well, you have to do a lot of inner work because remember, you have to become yeah, it's like people say, well, Andrew's perfect. No, he's human.
No, I know he's not perfect.
Not you. Yeah, there is an audience. I'm not just talking to you. I'm just saying people in general, not yourself. But yeah, as Andrew and I agree, it's like once if you're perfect on this planet, you leave because you've achieved everything. There's nothing left to learn. So that's why you leave.
I don't think that's necessarily true because there's a lot to be discovered in different places, whatever. I mean, I don't think that, but let me tell you, I don't think I'm all be it whatever. I just know I don't fit in here. I've talked to Andrew before. I know I'm not right. I have had the most unequivocal kind of feeling that there's so much more I have to do here, and I don't really want to do it. But
Unfortunately, you are here, and the more you shuck the responsibility of what you have to do here, the longer you are going to be here. There is no easy button out. Simple as that. There's no easy button out.
Well, there is. You just do the work, and comedy helps as well. So, because I know this is a comedy. Yeah.
Let me tell you, I've had it, so I know. I've been untethered by that and very upset with having gotten it. But yeah, none of you want to get it if you've never been vaccinated.
Hi, Darryl. Thanks a lot for calling in. We're going to move on to the next caller. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
All right, Melinda, signal to mute.
Oh, this is going to be painful. There's a Melissa. There's a Melinda. Andrew, you got to change your name.
Where are you calling from, Melinda?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. Welcome to the show. What do you think of the show so far?
Hilarious. I've been enjoying myself. It's funny as hell.
Good.
So, do you have any sex stories or conversations you'd like to share with us?
That's the first he goes for.
Oh, okay. Now I was giving Melissa shit about it. Now I'm going to clam up. But other than that, I wanted to ask about what happened on your hiatus, the mission that you were on last year. I don't know if I missed it in one of the shows or if we ever talked about it.
No, I got sick and was in the hospital for a while, had an allergic reaction to a medicine I was taking, and it took a long time to recover from it. So I was actually in the hospital for 30 days. And then while I was in the hospital, I developed a blood clot in my leg. And because I wasn't moving, my body swelled up so much, I was red as a lobster for like 30 days.
Wow.
It took a long time, and it's going to take a longer time for different parts of my body to recover from that type of anaphylactic shock I was in.
And instead of saying all that, instead of saying all that, I just said Andrew's on assignment, and it was just a euphemism because Andrew didn't want people to know until he could say something. And so from now on, if I ever say someone's on an assignment, it's Bruce is on an assignment. His Wi-Fi is shit at the moment. So it's just much better when Andrew came back, he can tell the story that he wants to share. And that's what you heard, basically.
Yeah,
so he wasn't really it wasn't on assignment. He was trying to stay alive.
Yeah, because the last comedy show of last year, I caught the Mary Tell-in. I had left it on, and I heard, I guess it was Monty and Robert saying something. I think it was Robert said, yeah, he almost died. I'm like, what happened? Something happened to Andrew. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the physical story of it, too. There's an awful lot more to what actually was happening. So
it's just so much easier while someone's going through that to say they're on assignment instead of freaking everyone out. So, and plus,
technically, I'm sure contracted. He was doing something on the other side, so it makes sense.
Yeah, big time. Ryan's on it. Ryan just mentioned in the comments in the chat room. You're spot on, Ryan. It was on many other levels. It was enormous, and it's actually one of the blessings of the whole thing is for this lifetime's experience. It was what brought Andrew and I back together in this lifetime.
Yep.
So one of the bonuses.
So one of the more unique things that I got to experience. So because they didn't know for the first 15 days, they had no clue what was wrong with me. not a clue. And so I was in a cancer ward, and so all the nurses are cancer nurses. So basically every 3 days, a new person would come in, go through cancer treatment. So I had my own room because they knew my immune system was freaking out. My immune system numbers were like through the roof. So I would get up and walk around like every hour just because I'm bored out of my mind. I couldn't watch TV, didn't want to do anything. I would have hot flashes because my skin would go through these heat eruptions because I had a situation called endothermic where I couldn't control my own body heat. Yeah. So I would heat up. And so I was like having full on hot flashes. And I would watch these people who would come in to get chemo get really, really sick for 3 days. And then talk to them in the little waiting room or, walk next to them. But the room that I was in by myself, but right above me was the air ambulance. And every night the air ambulance guys would come in, and it was like meeting the angels I haven't seen in a million years. I even tear up when I talk about it. Every night I would tune in to those air ambulances. Yeah. And I have a whole different respect for the allopathic community, because at one point there were 35 different people working on my case. I was at the Cleveland Clinic. They flew people in from Chicago, from Maryland, because my blood test results didn't make sense. They didn't even understand that I was having an allergic reaction to a medicine and what was freaking out everything in my system. And now they're going to be writing papers about it because it's such a unique thing to be on a medicine and that you have an allergic reaction to. And the medicine was methotrexate, which I had been on forever to control my skin condition.
Wow.
Yeah. But look, while we're on that topic too, that I work in integrative medicine and all the rest. Very rarely, unless it's an individual that's an absolute a-hole, I'm not going to bag out people that work in allopathic medicine. They're doing the best they can. They only know what they know. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them will work their butts off in what they do know to try and figure stuff out. And you'll hear me say it a million times that if you want to be diagnosed, allopathic medicine is still the number one place to go. They're really good at diagnosis. They've got really good tools. They're not necessarily awesome when it comes to treatment, as we're hearing with Andrew, but they're amazing at finding out what's happened. They're also really great if you've got an immediate trauma. When I say that, immediate physical trauma, like car accident, broken leg, things like that, terrific. But in terms of disease and even way more, they have no idea what they're doing with viruses. But it was.
And it's not their fault, really. It's the system. It's run by accountants, right. And there's an element at the top that's controlling the knowledge. And
look, pharmaceutical companies own the degrees that doctors do now, and so it's just that's heavily biased. But that doesn't change that the individual's passion is still there.
I was about to say there's a reason they go into it, because they're actually healing. Yeah. Like my mum's experience where, where do I start? Where in the timeline? She had a heart operation, and to be a heart nurse, it's like 2 years extra, or because you specialize. And my mum would start a conversation. So why do you do this? And it's mostly because I love it. And it's like, especially with today's technology, the way it is, if I can get a bit, pedantic in a way, their success rate, what is it, Melissa? What, 93, 98% of heart patients
in that unit? Yeah, it was terrific.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, they lose people occasionally, but there's that joy of the team works well together, and the joy of saving people's lives. And it just it's a form of service. Like they get paid for it well, but most of the people in the system, before the system crushes them, it's what they're supposed to do. They're a healer. Like you're a healer, you're both healers. I'm talking to the audience, really. You guys know what I'm talking about.
So there was a situation. So my skin, the dermis of my skin had swelled up. Like imagine in between the dermis and the muscle, there's a swelling layer a half-inch thick. So do you imagine what it's like drawing blood through that? Mm-hmm. So they would have to find the top level vampire of the entire hospital to draw blood for me, because they didn't want to put a PICC line in me right away. And it took them like 8 days before they finally put a PICC line in me. So they would come to draw blood every 4 or every 5 hours. And it was just to the point where they're collapsing veins, they can't get through. And I would just stick my arm out, and I didn't even feel the pricks of the needles after a while. But I trained so many people how to get blood out of a body you couldn't get it out of. And then people like, so what do you do for a living? Oh boy. I do podcasts. I do podcasts. And then, after a while, people are like, oh, you have a radio, you have a show. I'm like, yeah, I do this. And then some of the nurses, in between do like, so what's it really like doing that kind of job? And I tell them. And then it got to the point where, because I was having these hot flashes, I couldn't sleep. Like 7 days of like 2-3 hours of sleep, because the nurses would come in every 2 hours to check on me. They're drawing blood all the time. And then 8:30 or 7:30 in the morning, the practice students, the teaching part of the hospital would come in, and they'd look you over from head to toe, take pictures. And, I talked to them, and, anything I could do to help, people learn from what's going on in my situation. But it reached a point where I couldn't sleep. So they gave me a sleep drug. What is it? Fuck. I'm having a brain fart. Not Lunesta. What's the other one? The sleeping pill? Ambien. Yes. So they gave me Ambien. And halfway through, let's say, the night, like it kicked in enough where I went, but I woke up. And I got up out of the bed, and I walked out into the hallway with my little gurney and my blood dripper thing. And I look at the nurse right there, and I go, I'm a beef shawarma. And she goes, great, Andrew. I know this is your first night of being on Ambien, and you'll be just fine. Just relax, be a beef shawarma. And I believed I was a beef shawarma. Quite literally, like one of those shawarmas that are wrapped in the pita breads. And I just sat down in the back of the bed, and I started eating on myself. Ah, damn, do I taste good? Now, this is an example of body disassociation, because my body was in such a swelling state, and it was so painful, the experiences that I was going through. But I entered this little kitty state, and the nurse knew exactly what to say to me. Hey, you're just sleepwalking, Andrew. You'll be fine. Don't worry. Just as calm as that.
Did this happen in August, or was it July?
October.
Second half.
Okay.
Yes, the last
September
quarter of last year.
Yeah. So September 9th, I went in, and I got out October 7th.
Yeah, it got that bad. Bruce and I just started doing the comedy show ourselves, and that's where I think we did 2 at the end of the year, mainly because we were chomping at the bit, as well as people were asking for it. So we kept the home fires burning, and then Andrew came back at the start of this year, and here we are.
All right, Melinda, thanks a lot for Melinda. Thanks for not calling. Let's move on to the next caller.
Oh, hang on. That's all Melinda said. Was there anything else you wanted, Melinda? I mean, you asked.
I can't talk about any sex stories. I have an adult son in the same room. He would be horrified.
Well, he must accept that you had sex once, because he exists.
Obviously, but he'll want to hear about it. He's 27 years old. I mean, I'm your age. It's not like he wants to hear about that shit. If it was me, I would.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All
right, Robert. Let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
James, let's see. Now, Sarah. Signal to unmute. Sarah,
are you there?
Hello.
Hello. Where are you calling from?
Folsom, California. How you
Folsom,
doing, Andrew?
Good. I'm doing good. What do you want to talk about tonight?
Ears.
Ears?
Yes. It's all a whole sexual thing. Ears. I don't think they get enough credit.
Ears.
Yes.
So,
if you get a good story going, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. The whisper in the ear, the blowing in the ear, the nibble on the ear, the licking of the inside of the ear. So ears are, if you look at ears from acupressure perspective, it's in the shape of a fetus. And when activated, earlobes properly activated through breath, warm breath, and then fast and slow breath, can be extremely potent sexually for women and men too. And then the mastoid bone that's right on the base of the ear, when you are in a, let's say, on top on bottom position and you're holding the neck, but actually put the fingers over the base of the mastoid bone, and you begin a deep, like, relaxing process, the mastoid bone could be powerful.
Amen.
Yeah.
So is that
And
why
then-
ASMR is so popular right now?
Yes, it's one of those reasons. But the thing is, the ear can also be an extension of the vulva. So there are pressure points in the ear that directly connects to the vulva too. That's why ASMR can be so potent.
That's
the ear's
amazing.
connected to everything, though, isn't it? Because like, isn't like the pirates that would have earrings, and it's in the right part of the bulb. It's connected to the eye or something like that, possibly.
I had no
Well, the
idea.
earlobe too, down in the bottom of the earlobe, similar to what happens in like traditional Chinese medicine and everything too, connects to the base chakra as well. So,
And then there are eargasms.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do you care to talk about your eargasms?
Sure. I can tell you there was a gentleman that I dated for some time, and he was a very tall individual, but his package did not meet the stature. However,
oh yeah, I've seen that.
however, how he enjoyed my ears made up for it.
You have the elven ears.
Yes. Yeah, and he went in that route, and I thought, hello, that's amazing, quite amazing, because thinking that
Sarah,
the package isn't meeting it. Yeah.
But Sarah, have you found that when the package is a little, surprising, and doesn't meet the, a little surprising, they're usually amazing lovers, because whereas someone that's well endowed thinks he doesn't have to do anything because he's got a big,
They think the club is enough.
and the club, and usually they're the shittiest lovers you'll ever come across when they've got something big, and yet because they're just too lazy to learn any skill set. Whereas someone that comes in with a surprise package like that tends to be an amazing lover that's actually looked into and connected with, and yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it sounds like this guy was well worth it.
Oh yeah, it was a lovely experience, and he was an individual that had very strong boundaries. And what's super funny about it, Hughes was one of the L. Ron Hubbard guys.
Oh, oh dear.
Right. It was very interesting. It was a very lovely learning experience. And he never pushed it. He just shared it, and he was fun to explore with. The only person that I've ever met that actually had a semi-shrine to Jim Morrison. And he listened to the Doors all the time.
That's not a bad thing.
It was a lovely experience, I got to tell you. And when it ended,
as it's just it's a shrine. He doesn't
that's
think
my
he's
list,
Jim
Mont.
Morrison. Okay.
Jim Morrison goes on my list as well, Mont.
Yeah. Before he got fat, or maybe during his fat. Let's be fair.
Oh, so Jim Morrison is a yes for you, Melissa?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, it's more than just the physical. It's the rest of the package, right?
That's right. Look, Jeff Buckley would have been a yes for me too.
Real quick, did he ever try humming through your ear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then simul humming.
Is everything.
Yeah, resonance is everything, because there's a way to get the actual inner ear to resonate and flow through the entire head. And if you know how to position the head and hold the head with the other side over the occiput in the back, you can create double ear orgasm at the same time.
Oh yeah. That sounds nice.
Yeah, there's a reason why certain singers get addicted to actually singing, because of the resonance of you've got head voice and everything else like that. And yeah, it's a very unique experience when you're belting out a song properly, not yelling, but when you're in tune and you got the right frequency and you amplifying it through your lungs and your voice, and the whole head starts going. I had a wonderful experience. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah.
No, that's all right, Sarah.
Right.
Keep going.
Go ahead.
Go on, Monty.
No, I finished.
I sang in choir in high school, and it was a fantastic experience. And we had some great singers. We broke down. There was a triple trio that we did, and we did competitions and whatnot. And that was a whole total blast. But I understand what you're saying. When you hit those notes right, and then if you have others with you that are resonating, the harmonies.
Mhm.
Oh, hello. Yeah.
Yes. So
That
when
takes you right back to the Om, doesn't it? Like
Right.
when people are actually chanting or throat singing. That takes you right into that too.
when you do ear work and through lovers, you get this glue energy where you're like stuck to each other. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. Like you just can't move. You're like stuck in that position. And there's a way to get your fingers in a position and then hum into the fingers and have it come up the fingers and into the ear, which creates this whoop, 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 whoop energy within inside you. It's really, it's amazing. It's a full body orgasm without penetration.
Yeah, you actually
For
use
both.
your entire.
Yeah.
You use your body as a listening point. Now,
Yep.
the human ear itself is usually like, what is it, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. But if you're at a rock concert and there's a fun part why you get exhilarated. Part of it is actually your lower intestine is rubbing together and causes micro bleeding, and that induces adrenaline. So that's why you get excited. But also, a lot of deaf people aren't really deaf. They don't have the ears, but they listen through the rest of their body.
Yeah. So I was with the deaf girl. Okay. And so it was amazing because the humming, I like to do a humming process. And it was as if she was hearing through her ears during the orgasmic states. And it was a powerful, powerful experience. And I wish it would have gone further, but she had some ongoing issues with her own spirituality. But I will say that was a very powerful experience being with a deaf girl.
Since you're both awesome healers, because I've hung out with you so much, it's like every time you're like, this is Melissa and she does good work. Believe me, I've seen it over and over and over. Look, just believe me, shut up. The ringing of the ears. Now, modern medicine says that it can't be cured or anything, because basically it's the hairs being burnt off, apparently. And I mean, you've worked in clubs, Andrew. Do you actually have ringing in your ears, or have you found a way of healing the inner ear, the cochlea?
So inner ear ringing has many reasons. Oftentimes it's a spiritual process of something's trying to communicate to you and you're too ignorant to listen. You have issues that are blocking to you, or it's so high frequency it only comes as a ring and you don't have the capacity to lower its intensity to words. And then there are damaged ears. So when Sony first invented the Walkman, our generation has damaged ears. And then the entire Gen Xers that had cars with 15-inch speakers everywhere they went, and you could hear them from 5 miles away, you're going to have damaged ears. And it's not just from the hairs in there, the lobes themselves, the inner eardrums are damaged.
Okay. And is there a way of fixing that? Or
So that's a unique question. If it's damaged, right? If it's intentional damage from loud music, probably not. Probably not.
Because, like, everything is possible, nothing is real. I'm sure there's a way of I'm still holding on to it. I can regenerate, not like into Peter Capaldi, not a Doctor Who regeneration, but regenerating. I should be able to go to my factory settings with certain parts of my body eventually. Maybe it's going to happen in 3 lifetimes, but you get the concept. Melissa hopefully does, because that's what you do.
Well, look, when it comes to tinnitus is more often than not, it's actually a virus. And so that's where it gets really fast. It's really unique with each individual person. But I will say to everyone that in January of this year, my whole family and I all had COVID together. We all caught it. And ever since then, I had tinnitus after having COVID. And so that was really interesting, because COVID's, we could do a whole show and I still wouldn't get everything out about what the hell's in that virus. But that's been a really interesting one where I had to deliberately, go on a viral protocol. And I do the work that I do in quantum bioenergetic integration. We do work on viruses really, really well. as you've heard from Monty talking about his stepfather, who was completely misdiagnosed, was in ICU with a few hours to live, and I went in and said, "Oh, this is an interesting virus," and now he's out and walking and fine. So
I lost a job for it. It's so fun when I tell people about that. He's like, I was a carer for my dad, and then I lost that job. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, no, he's much better. He didn't die. Yeah. I lost a job because he got better. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, so when it comes to tinnitus, there's a whole other reason. And then, as Andrew said, there's a whole lot of spiritual reasons as well. So when it comes to actually treating someone with tinnitus, it's a whole other adventure every time. But yeah, more often than not, particularly through these manipulative and rebirth viruses over the last 5 years, 6 years, which includes the COVID series. But yeah, we're seeing more and more tinnitus is being caused by viral salt. So there's lots of reasons around it.
So back to the ears. For the lady with the ultra sensitive ear, Sarah. So there are experiences you can create for yourself. And this is not a masturbatory process. It's as a preparation when you find a lover. So having very unique horsehair brushes, camel hair brushes that are very, very soft, and you put just a tiny bit of essential oil in them, you can stimulate the ears in such a very unique way that they'll be an impressive part of your sexual journey. Sarah, can you unmute her? You unmute Sarah? Did we lose Sarah, Robert?
No, I just sent her a signal. Sarah, are you there? Sarah.
Hi.
There you go.
There you are.
I'm here, but I have some family things going on, so I'm going to have to get off of the call. I'm so sorry, but you guys have a great time.
Okay, you have a great day.
You too.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Dave, signal to unmute. Dave.
Dave, are you there?
I'm here.
The man, the myth, the legend. Dave, how's it going?
It's Friday, the weekend, always good.
So what did you think of tonight's show so far?
Really good. I missed the first 10 minutes, so I didn't see how it started, but it
was brilliant. Just comedy jokes.
It started off with Brazilian waxing.
Yeah.
Okay, I came in at a painful point in that. I think Melissa was explaining something about what's going on in that process. But
sorry about that.
That grandma's cooking, good. Yeah, memories of that. And our family. How many people can you fit at the table? Although the kids usually got the garage. Or the little
yes, the kiddie table.
The kids' table.
Until you got so old enough that you graduated to the big table.
Which has even less room than the kids' table.
Yeah, and more restrictive. But then the sexual stuff, acupuncture really helped me learning the body and, different points, pressure. And I took a lot of acupuncture classes because they taught Qigong at it. And so I also have energy and I did Reiki. So it's combining all those tools into, I think like each woman's an instrument, and what music can you play out of it? When you just have that sensual experience, the ears, the scalp, the corpus callosum, you'd start that massage up there, come through the skull and down the ears, and ear orgasms, different, ear orgasms, nipple orgasms, vaginal orgasms, and you find a partner that's willing to explore. And then you you take it wherever you want to go, and it's and then like you said, then that music that you're stuck together because you've been in sync like that, and those are the best times.
But it's interesting being a monk for like 7 to 10 years, isn't it, Melissa? Where it's like, I mean, you've got a good memory. I've forgotten everything, so I'm in that thing like, am I a virgin again? like, do I have to start at the bottom? Start at like A is for apple. Like, I'm sure it'll all come back to me, but it's like there's that fear of like, you have no idea, do you? You don't go talk to that woman. You're an idiot.
At least you. Hopefully, you won't.
I've stayed single. I've stayed single and been consciously solo for that long. I haven't, haven't got out of the game though, Mont. I haven't been celibate. Okay, all
right, fine. You turn up to you turn up to practice. You don't play the game. You turn up to practice. I'm at home trying to find a new team. Okay.
Well, Monty, after breaking your 7 years, hopefully you won't have to wade through the weeds to find the promised land.
No, I have to look up what you're talking about. It's been that long. I don't know what you mean. What?
You need hedge cutters to get through that.
So will there be geese, or am I mixing up something? Yeah.
No, I'm going to bring up because Dave, you're absolutely right. Like before you bring out any other tools, toys, or anything else you want to do, you want to know the person that you're with, their first sex toy, and you've got to know them first. Andrew's a big fan of the. I can't remember where we were talking about this a while ago about the whole full drawer of sex toys and everything like that. And the bottom line is, if someone can't master me first, you don't pull anything out of the drawer. It
starts with lips.
No. So that was for people that were calling in that haven't done anything in so long, and they've let their sexual body die off that they have to be introduced to those toys. Now, for me, toys only get involved once you've done the exploring of the body, just like you said.
Right. That's it.
And only if they're needed. Only if they're needed. Sometimes it's just the nature of exploring. That is probably the next part of the uniqueness of the experience.
Well, as Dave said, it starts with lips, and that makes sense because you start kissing. I mean, there's a great Monty Python sketch. It's like, what if you would like to make love to a woman? What do? Rub the clitoris. Rub the clitoris. How about a kiss, boy? You don't barge straight. You don't run directly straight at the thing. Maybe a hug, maybe a kiss, maybe a nice romantic silhouette. It's a good scene. It's from Life, Meaning of Life, the movie.
I do have personal experience many years ago where I started dating a guy. He was fabulous. Things were going along. We actually got to his bedroom. Hadn't had sex with him yet, and to impress me, he pulled open the drawer on his bedside table, and it was packed with all sorts of sex toys. We actually at that stage hadn't actually had sex just yet. And he pulled out. My first thought was, "Have you washed those?" I was just like,
"What cleaning regime do you have here? Yeah.
Where the hell have all of those been? And have you kept them clean? What sort of sterilizer have you got in the house?" And things actually, it was a massive turn off for me. It was, we never got to even, massive turn off, never saw him again.
Can you imagine the book 50 Shades of Grey, which I think we should do a version of the Grey Aliens.
I could have written that freaking, can't believe I could have written that.
But I mean, it's like on the first date, here's my sex dungeon. You don't start with the sex dungeon. Maybe a kiss, a hug, a brief encounter behind a tree, like stuff like that.
Yes, I'm just having flashbacks to the drawer full of toys, going, "Oh my god, what the?" But
because when you're in sync with them, like my favorite lover, it was like it's different every time. It starts different, but and it's an exploration, a game, it's play, it's fun, it's sensual, and just the whole.
And when
experience.
it's organic like that, Dave, and it unfolds in like you say, in different ways each time. That's part of it. Like it needs to be. But for me, particularly, I need that sort of intelligent variation through it all.
Yeah. No one likes a dead fish.
No.
No one likes the dead fish. Okay.
How many people want a comedian metalhead? I'm unique. It's like, you're really funny. Do you listen to Slayer? No, I'm sorry. This date is over. I mean, if you can, you don't have to love Slayer, but I'm going to put it on at some point.
I was going to say, Mont, when you take a lover home, just don't open your DVD drawer straight away. You know,
I'll just close the library door. Yeah. It's like, yeah. So do you think Slayer's first album, or are you more of like Scar Cemetery? I don't worry, I've got Primus, Pink Floyd, and Public Enemy, and even that's weird enough for people. What? Like Pink Floyd, Public Enemy, Primus, Portishead, Pantera. My section of P is the weirdest collection of music you've ever seen.
Just to Mitz in the chat room, she will not be allowed to touch the DVD collection.
No.
No, you can watch the DVD collection, but you will
can
not
look at
touch.
it, you can watch it if he chooses what you're watching, but you're not allowed to touch it.
I am Captain Pedantic. It's a collection, not a library.
Yes, the CD will not go around the boobie and play the boobie DVD player.
Yeah. And also, somehow we have to meet. I have to leave the house, and I live in Melbourne. Yeah, little things.
Look, just everyone, I will actually get him on a plane. One day I can see ahead of us, we will all meet you in the same room someday.
I've been saying
Bruce
that
will
about,
be there too.
I've been saying that about Rev Radio. Like just once for Revolution Radio, we have one staff meeting because there's 80 hosts. I'm sure it'll be a very short meeting, but 80, like it's like, yeah, it's Andrew meets everybody that he's actually giving sessions to. That will be a while.
Yes,
your
that will be a while.
Yeah, your 7-year tour. Like, okay, moving on to Ecuador. Yep.
Hey, speaking of which, things that you brought up, Revolution Radio, we're actually bizarrely this afternoon for Monty and I, but in a couple of hours, continuing this conversation.
Yeah, 3 hours. We're filling in for Sean David Morton on Strange Universe. I seem to be taking over his life via radio, and I'm not getting paid. So this is not working.
We're all jumping in on that one. So the conversation will continue. And again, you can call in, can't you, to Sean's show?
No.
Okay. No, sorry. My apologies, everyone.
No. It's on Skype, and quite frankly, that's the. I mean,
it's too.
Yeah,
I better open up Skype now to see how many updates it's going to do.
Yes, yeah. Skype is like MySpace now. It's a quaint idea from the past.
It is.
Because everyone's zooming. So yeah, and maybe a certain galactic historian may be there, depending on sleeping patterns. Or yeah.
So, Dave, did you have anything else you want to talk about?
Well, as long as you talk about other shows, I thought the one that you, David Ellis and Emir Hargrave did on, kind of the whole squeeze, the apartheid and clown world is excellent. And if anyone hasn't seen that, or listened to that, go listen to that.
Yeah, we've been making a lot of content in the background. We've probably recorded 25 shows in the last 3 weeks. We're getting ready. We're getting ready for the content, the boom we're going to put out when the election cycle starts in November. We're going to start in mid-August, blowing out content for people that want to walk away from politics.
Yeah, and I've done 2 shows, and I'm still waiting for them to go up. I don't know if they will or not, but I know I've done 2 or 3 shows that I was part of. So if it makes the cut, awesome.
The 2 have already gone up. They were played. They're played a while back. The one where we did on the Sacred Geometry Cities, he just remastered that one, and it's going to come out, I think, 2 weeks. Okay, he's only putting 2 shows a week out now.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. If you like shapes, and I mean on a basic level, like as a 3-year-old, you draw circles or squares or something like that. It is fascinating to see the sacred geometry. Obviously, in the show, we explain what's going on, and Andrew looks at Washington D.C. And you remember the Steiner graph?
Yep.
Is it a toy? Like Steiner, that creative where you have circles and cogs and you can make all these geometric patterns.
Spirograph.
Yeah. Well, I live in a different country, old man. So,
yeah.
Who knows what? Circly things. That's what they sold it for. Anyway, my point being is you'll find it fascinating because it is sacred geometry. And part of you will be drawn in, even if it's just like a millimeter of your soul. There's still a fascination. Remember when David first saw it,
yes.
Andrew?
Yeah, he was like, "Whoa!" He was lost in 10 minutes.
10 minutes. He's just like geeking out on just looking at the sacred geometry. And it's fascinating how it's overlaid on cities and so forth. It's all in the show. But I'll have a look at the show because it'd be interesting to see what your reaction is to. Now, I don't really need to know. This is for you, but everyone listening, just have a look at the sacred geometry and see what your reaction is. And if it's like, oh, that's boring, okay, and you can move on with your lives. But I would guarantee you, because it is sacred geometry, there'd be a little hint of like, that's fascinating. Or you get the other end of the spectrum of David, like David, yeah, we seriously lost him for 20 minutes. He was just like, wow, he's looking at everything.
Yeah, when you're playing like that, even the sacred geometry takes a different form.
Yeah, well, it's the way that the system in DC, you have to give it to the other side. It's perfect. Now, obviously, the use of what's going on is not really. We don't agree with it really, but it's to collect energy, isn't it, Andrew? Basically,
yes, harvesting.
Yeah, harvesting energy, and it's pure genius the way they've done it. It sucks that they have, but you can still appreciate the intelligence and the genius of it.
Like the inner belt and outer belt of a city with interstates going through. Just that's what we have here in Charlotte. We have an inner belt and an outer belt, and a north-south interstate and an east-west interstate. Cutting through. So you have lots of that. But on Washington, one of the other things I'd like to talk about. I went to the symposium, the UAP, that you had Paul Hynek and Melanie Miner on the show, Ventures into Reality. And there was one presenter who showed this kind of tetrahedron above the Pentagon. And, 4 different witnesses saw it, 3 had video, and 8 hours later, Trump signs Space Force into law, or signs his Space Force thing. What do you know about that, Andrew?
So the sacred geometry above the Pentagon appears on a very regular basis. And they've created hologram machines in attempts to hide it, but sometimes the geometry is so bright the hologram machines don't function anymore. And it is an aspect of the magical side of the creation of the Pentagon during the war, when there were still wizards left over, and the Pentagon was made as a system separate of the sacred geometry. But where it was actually built is a powerful energy center, and it's meant to trap that energy center, and then all the people that work within the Pentagon, obviously functioning through the war processes, and it transmutes a nursery type energy to be a nursery for warriors.
Because the presenter also had videos from it above the Kremlin, in Kiev, Shanghai, and near NASA in Florida.
Yep. These shapes regularly appear above the advanced military places of different countries. Yes.
Yeah, they had a lot of interesting videos. The presenter, I think Jaime Maussan from Mexico, had, I guess he put out 20 years ago, he put one on and told his audience, hey, if you get a picture of something, video, send it in, we'll put it up. And he had a presentation that showed, like 20 years of, on stuff they can't explain,
So whenever you see this, the Senate House with the big dome get hit by lightning, you'll see, and it gets hit by lightning on a regular basis, actually, the entire building start to glow for 20 to 30 minutes after it.
Ooh.
Like literally glow, and there's not lights on anywhere, like there'd be a power outage of the city, and the building is literally glowing after it gets hit by lightning. And then there are shapes that appear in it and get projected upwards also.
Where are those shapes and projections coming from?
The building itself.
And what are they? What's their purpose?
So the inside is a dome. You got to understand, the inside is like a dome to trap energy, and it traps the cymatic patterns inside and converts them to energetic or electromagnetic cymatic patterns in the upper atmosphere.
So it's there on the mall opposite the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
that sacred geometry there is it concentrating into
Yes. They're focusing it into that space. Yeah.
Yeah. That's at one end, and then you got the big pointy thing.
Washington Monument.
Washington Monument, yeah. And then just north of that is the White House, and it is fascinating. So yeah, when hopefully everyone gets the update that show's coming out, because it is quite fascinating. Plus, you want to see David just stare at the screen for 10 minutes while we're all waffling on about stuff. Because he just,
what's the title of that show again, so people can find it?
I don't remember.
I actually was just digging around.
I've recorded so many. It's not up yet.
It's not up yet?
It's not up yet, no.
Okay. I was just looking on the UCM app.
Yeah,
okay, it's not there yet. Hold on, it's coming.
It could be not insurrectionists. What we're trying to
middle finger path.
Yeah, we're basically figuring out. But there was a series of them where we came up with the idea of being a spiritual terrorist to stick the middle finger up at the system. I think there was that part of that sort of thing, and then we got to because Amir was asking, so how can one person sort of fight against, say, sacred geometry? And 45 minutes later, David comes out of his trance.
Well, there's that great show too on the spiritual narcissism too. I think that one's up. And that was terrific as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, some really really good ones. But so I'm just digging around on the app trying to find it for you guys. But yeah, I don't think it's up.
It's not up yet. Like I said, we've recorded so many in the last couple of weeks. It's crazy. Anyways, guys, we're near the end of the show. Dave, thanks a lot for calling in. Great talking to you once again.
Yeah, great talking to you all.
And hit me up on my phone when you're free.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys. We are near the end of the show. Monty, you want to give a way for people to get a hold of you?
Wafer Thin Entertainment on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and Rumble, as well as Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I also have my own Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. I can be heard every Wednesday at 2 a.m. on Revolution Radio on Wednesdays on Studio A with Planet Collingwood, and most likely on Strange Universe, which is 1 a.m. Eastern. Now that's East New York time, and I've been helping out Sean. I produce his shows on Wednesday night, which is my Thursday afternoon. Time travel. There you go. And Melissa, maybe Andrew, and definitely me will be on Strange Universe in 2.5 hours on Revolution Radio at flimslips.com. And you click on the Hawk's Nest player, and we'll be there filling in for 2 hours. I will also be seen at a supermarket next week as well, but I don't want to give too much away.
Melissa, give people a way to get a hold of you.
There's lots of ways to find me, guys. If you want to go, there's a Facebook group called The Irrepressible Healer in You. And on that one, I actually do some free live streams and stuff and everything, have a chat to you and help you actually develop some of the skill set with QB and healing yourself, which is what it's all about. But you can find me at melissahawkinghughes.com. You can, for goodness sake. It's fine. melissahawkinghughes.com. If you go to the website, there is put your email address and you go to the free healing show. For some reason, some people have been misdirected to a paid one. If you go to that, don't do it. Come back, message me, send us an email to the office saying that you're after the free link to the free self-healing course. It's only like a 10-minute thing. And I will send you, or we will all send you the proper link so you can go to the free one. So go to the website, put your email address in. If you don't get sent to the free program, message us and we'll make sure you go to the free one. All social media. You'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, all of the good stuff, Insta, all of those, and here and everywhere else as well. So, yeah, easy to find.
All right, everybody, you know who I am. You can go to my website, andrewbartzis.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or anywhere else. I highly encourage you to prepare. We have a solstice that is coming up. For those of you that are lazy spiritualists and C+ efforter, now is the time to go do your rituals and ceremonies. You can get a hold of me. You can go to the website. You can watch 1,001 videos, 10 plus years of content. We will be back this coming Thursday with a live call-in show. Robert, take us away.
Each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.
Hello, let's create, let's co-create, and let's change this world with love. No matter if you're from Alpha Centauri or Earth, we all began with the same birthing process. We live in a limited point of view. Living the mystical life daily is about striving for the unlimited point of view. Each day, each human being gets an infinite amount of choices. Living the mystical life daily is about facing obstacles and challenges. The level of awareness that you are working at means you have a responsibility to be equal with it. How does one truly let go of expectation? You can make the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to sleep sacred. The keys to success: choice, 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 and choice.